just to share my P. Yeah, I will just share it.
Please go ahead, ma'am.
Yeah, I will share this thing PPT.
Yes,
Okay. Okay. We will see this
yes,
this
yes,
one.
yes,
Yeah, and
Please,
I'm
sure.
so happy to be here with all of you. And also, Nanjana Swami gave me the opener task, and this is my duty is to start the ball rolling. And this is social science research, and all of you are from social science faculty. And to start with, I would like to define what is the social science, what and all comes under social science, and where social science research is going on, and what are the major issues that as a social science researchers, what we are facing and what can be done. Because as you see, all of you are familiar with National Education Policy, NEP, and actually you know much more than me about NEP and the intricacies of it. So what actually caught my eye when first time this policy was announced is that government is going to start research universities. So teaching universities and research universities and colleges. So research universities will have more share for research in research universities. More importance will be given to the research, and teaching institutions will be promoting more teaching, because this is really very good thing. In fact, I responded to this when UGC requested comments. They put it online for the comments. Why research universities are important is, in traditional universities, we tried to combine both. We were in traditional universities where only teaching is important. I mean, is given importance, and you will be, you will be teaching 14 hours and 12 hours and sometimes 16 hours. And then in that, you will also have to incorporate some research, this thing. So we used to work extra so many hours of work. So that was discouraging many teachers to take up research projects. Because when you take research projects, certainly you'll have to spend a lot of time on research. So that's why actually separating the research universities and teaching universities is really a very good idea and also good initiative. So let us see how it works, because still it is a long way to go, and it just the thought has come to the government that it has to separate research and teaching universities. So okay, so this is about. Is it seen? Screen ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ?
Yes, go ahead, madam. Okay,
madam. Screen ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ಲ? ಇದು ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ ಶೇರ್ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ನಾನು.
ಫುಲ್ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಮೇಡಂ. F5.
ಫುಲ್ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಫುಲ್ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್.
ಇಲ್ಲ ಮೇಡಂ, ಫುಲ್ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಮೇಡಂ.
ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. Yeah.
Fine, ma'am. Fine. Go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So all of you know what is social science, but for the sake of continuity, and also not only for the sake of continuity, many a time we think that we know the concept unless until you get to know what exactly the concept. And to all batches I tell, because you are all youngsters, don't think that I'm treating you like student, but you are certainly students for me. Why I talk about all lectures, I will tell that first you should have conceptual clarity. So anything, you are all researchers, and anything you are doing in research or teaching, you should clearly understand the concept that you are using. So then, if you understand the concept clearly, then you can use it in any way, in any manner. So I just want to give some conceptual clarity about what is social science, and then what is social science research. Then we'll get into the other aspects. So social science is a category of academic field concerned with society and social interactions. This is very important. So that is why actually economics and commerce, they are all put in social science. Why? Because in social science is that particular field, you will be talking about society and social interactions. In social interactions, you have human beings. Social interactions come from you and me. So that is why all this is put under what is called the social sciences. So it cuts across several academic disciplines. So the disciplines are geography, economics, political science, sociology, and even social medicine. So all this is put under what is called the social sciences, because in all these disciplines will be dealing with people and their social interaction. And though it is rooted in philosophy and social science, research is concerned with establishing valid approaches to human being study. So what is important is in social science research, we are studying about the human beings and their processes and their behavior, why people behave in this particular sense. So for example, in sociology, the science of social groups, you see how social groups, they converge or they, how social capital is developed. So all this you study in sociology. And whereas in economics, why economics is in social sciences is, in economics you study about the science of firms, markets, and they are all again concerned with human beings and the creation and accumulation of wealth in a state where human beings interact. So that is why it is also in social sciences. So it focuses, the social science disciplines focus determines the kind of questions they ask. So if you are focusing on economics, as a social science, you will put some kind of questions. Why individual behave like this? So why, even when prices are increasing, why people buy more during festivals? See, generally our economic theory says that when prices are more, people buy less. But during festivals, even prices are more. Even if you are paying 200 rupees for 1 meter of flowers, still you buy. So that means why? What makes them to buy? So then, it is an interaction between people and the market. So in depending on the discipline, if you are doing sociological research or economics research, so that particular discipline decides what kind of questions you are going to ask. So research is the social science wheel and soul. So why we are talking about research, social science research is social sciences wheel and soul, as because almost all fields associated with our outcomes are of the investigation. In social science research, you investigate and you will get to know how people are interacting and what makes people to behave in that particular way. So that comes from the research. So that is why research is the wheel and soul of social sciences, I can say. My next slide is going on. Yeah. So social science is a process characterized by two sets of activities. This is important. In social science, there are two sets of activities and influence. So Bhattacharya 2012 in his paper, he has mentioned that there are two sets of activities. So one is, it is a truth-seeking movement. So that seeks the connection to action and interaction. Why people interact, what action brings in what kind of interaction. So that we will look at it. On the other hand, external methods. So that is research funding, dissemination and application. All that also we study in social science research. So when you are talking about in social science, you look at the research part of it and also you look at the funding part of it. So social science research implies any form of a, so this is the crux of social science research. So social science research implies any form of a systematic study of people's actions and interactions with the fundamentals of thought and behavior that are social as the center of attention. So that is why it is called social science research, because here you are dealing with human beings and they have their social interactions. So in social science research, you look at people's actions, and because of those actions, what kind of interactions take place. And in this, society as individuals as the center of attention. So social science research has a purpose. Why we do research? It's not just for getting only PhD. So my PhD scholars also, I tell, it's not just only getting one book and putting it in library or somewhere else. So it is not that, it has a purpose. So social science research has a purpose of providing an understanding, explanation, and ultimately control of social behavior, on the assumption that such behavior has a known and measurable cause. These words are so beautifully, they are written here. So more 2019, I have given all the reference I have given. All these are taken from a beautiful article I have given in the end. So those of you are interested, you can also go through them. Okay. So this is, it seeks to understand man's interaction with society. So social discipline mainly focuses on the kind of questions, here. So social science research implies any form of a systematic study of people's actions and interactions with fundamentals of thought and behavior that are social as the center of attention. So here this Moore's explanation is very nice. So what it says is that social science research has the purpose of providing an understanding, explanation, and ultimately control of social behavior. So why we are looking at control of social behavior is we have an assumption that such behavior has a known and measurable cause. So if you want to control any behavior, but you should know the cause of it. So in social science research, you look at the cause of it, you understand why it is happening like that. So then if it has to be reduced or if it has to be curtailed, then you will come out with some solutions. So that means in social science research, you will try to identify the issue and you will try to identify the solution. You will try to identify the causes, why it is happening, and then come out with some solutions. See, and William Thompson is the one who first used the term social sciences in 1986. So it's not too far, long ago. Only recently, these all these things are put under social science. 1824. Sorry, Clay's article it is mentioned that William Thompson used in 1824. So sorry, it is quite long ago. Social sciences are put together as the social sciences. So social science comprises various disciplines, as I already told you. Though these sciences are treated as independent disciplines with specializations in them, they are interdisciplinary in nature. See, for example, as an economic student, I know some laws which are in economic laws. So simple law is demand. Everybody uses it and everybody knows about it. So, and then maybe I would observe a phenomena. So maybe I would collect some data about fruits and flowers sellers and see whether the demand theory applies there or not. So when I fit the demand model, so maybe I may get a result saying that the price is increasing, demand is also increasing. So for me as an economic student, I know theoretically when price is increasing, demand should come down. So, but it's not happening. So to explain that, I need sociology intervention. I need social dilemma, social milieu there. So what are the social issues? Why people are behaving like this? If it is an economic behavior, the person should not be buying more when price is less. But why the customs prevail during festivals? We have a custom that gods are to be prayed only with those particular flowers and particular fruits. So because of that, even if it is costing 200, 300 rupees, still we buy. So that means, why I am bringing this example is, these are interdisciplinary. To explain the economic phenomena, I need social phenomena. So that is why all this is under, and I'm explaining the economic phenomena, economic behavior with a social social understanding or social situation to explain the behavior of the individual. And also coming out with some theory, that the theory is that demand theory works only under these conditions. So in these conditions, demand theory does not work. So that is all this has come about from our social science research. So in social sciences, the related social sciences are put together. See, now we have a discipline called social economics. When I'm in the department, I was talking about community engagement of higher education institutions. People are asking me, you're an economics professor, why are you talking about community engagement of higher education institutions? So what I mean by community engagement is, it is not just only sociology or social work people going to village and stay there for their project work. It's not that. So universities, all disciplines can effectively engage with the communities around. Communities, what I mean is not only rural areas, but also anybody, anything. For example, industry, or for example, any school, institutions, or any institution outside the university is the community. So how the universities are engaging with the communities, I was talking about this. So people are asking. Then I asked them, is it not a social science? Economics is a social science. In economics, we talk about society, we talk about social behavior, and we talk about people and people's welfare. So then this is economics is also a social science. So in which we need the support of other social sciences. So all this I'm trying to, by telling all this, what I'm trying to put in your mind is that social sciences is a multidisciplinary multidisciplinary science. So where, you have different disciplines. So according to Middle, no social science by itself is sufficiently self-contained, nor any social problem. Thus, the problem of poverty is not merely an economic problem or a social problem or a political issue alone. See, like, doctor, in a medical doctor, you meet medical doctor. Why you meet medical doctor? You go with a problem. Say, I have stomach pain. I go to doctor. Tell doctor, this is my problem. So then what doctor does, doctor will examine and identify that, oh, because of this, you have some issue within your stomach. So this is the medicine to be given. So medicine is given, problem is solved. So we social scientists, we from social science background, so we also have the same responsibility. So you should be able to identify what are the social problems and why these social problems are coming about and what should be done to reduce these kind of the impact of these problems. All this is subject matter of what is called the social science research. In social science research, you identify an issue, you identify a problem. So you yourself can identify a problem, or sometimes it would come from anybody else. So they would ask you to do, why can we have a outer ring road? So that is a problem now. If we put a peripheral road in Mysore, so what is the cost of this? So then you'll be given that problem to assess how much the environment is lost and how much is the gain for the people. So then you conduct research. And this kind of research, no economist alone can do it. So it has to be a multidisciplinary research. So that is social research in which, you come out with, yes, if you put road this way, this is the cost to the government, and this is the cost to the environment, and this is the gain to people. So all that information you will collect and will make it. That is what is called the social science research. So the approaches and theories of all the disciplines must be blended. In social science research, you blend the approaches of all the other disciplines. See, when I'm using economics, for example, Amartya Sen's capability approach itself, it has so much of psychology in it, welfare economics. So why all these they have taken from the other disciplines, the theories from the other disciplines are taken in those situations. So social sciences in its broadest sense, study of society and the manner in which people behave and influence the world around us. This is the crux of social science research. So it tells us about the world beyond our immediate experience. So, and what are the causes of unemployment and what helps economic growth? Because I could give only economic examples. And also governments and policymakers, local authorities. So all this I can identify and suggest solutions or the policy suggestions based on social science research. Okay. And then what is social science research? So have you ever wondered why people behave in certain ways? That's what I told you. So social science research works to answer many of these questions about human behavior. So the fourth committee of Indian Council of Social Science Research, New Delhi, observed that social science research is mainly driven by two forces. All of you know ICSSR, Indian Council of Social Science Research. So some of you must have done projects supported by ICSSR. So they have defined in 2007 itself that social science research is chiefly driven by two forces. One is interest in knowledge about the functioning of the society, and this is out of interest people do research. So to understand how the society is functioning, what are the diverse social, cultural, political, and economic aspects, and understand the facts that shape them. And the other drive is the practical needs. See, policymakers and managers, government, civil society, private sector, they all need information to introduce any policies. See, for example, government wants to introduce any insurance policy. If government wants to introduce the insurance policy, how much it is going to cost government? So for that, government needs to know how many come within that, whatever is that limit that is being set. So then, based on that, the government will be able to estimate how much it benefits or it costs. So for all that, you need really data. So the social science research has practical application. It will be helpful for the policymakers and also managers or government, civil society anybody who is involved in interventions or who is involved in making policies. So social science research is very, very essential. So what is the social status of social science research in India? So sometime DFID, they have done some research. This was, of course, old thing, 2011. So what they came out is, they have looked at the social science research in India. So they have looked at the research that is promoted by institutional framework, and what are the universities, what are the research institutions and technical institutions, NGOs. So all these promote research, social science research in India. So universities, in public universities as well as private universities also, a lot of research is going on. And second one is research institutes. And there are several research institutes, and all of ICSSR promoted social science research institutes are there. Whereas nearest is Bangalore, there is Institute for Social and Economic Change. And Trivandrum, we have Center for Development Studies. And also Hyderabad, we have Tata Institute of Social Sciences, both in Mumbai as well as in Hyderabad. Also, we have regional center. And also there are several such ICSSR research institutions, and they are funded by the ICSSR. And there are technical institutions. All IITs have got social science, one department is there, or faculty of social sciences is there in all the Indian IITs. So there in those technical institutions also, lot of research is being promoted. And non-governmental organizations, some of the larger non-governmental organizations, larger non-governmental organizations, so they also promote autonomous research institutes. They have their autonomy in conducting their research. So there also a lot of social science research goes. So what are the disciplinary domains? So higher education is in India, of course, it is both public and private universities are there. So in these all the universities, science and arts two division is there, faculties. So, but there is no degree in social sciences as such. And the social sciences and humanities are grouped together in several of the universities. That is the present situation. And mainly this number of research organizations are there, as I told you, Center for Developing Society, Center for Development Studies in Trivandrum, and the Institute of Economic Growth, Madras Institute of Development Studies. There are many more such institutions which are promoting research. And the party studies and urbanization and feminist studies. Now a lot of social science research is happening in the area of feminist studies or gender studies promoted by the Centers for Women's Studies. And also university sector and government research institutions and other specialized institutions. As I told you, larger NGOs, that is SEWA, Jagori, Center for Enquiry into Health and Allied Themes, Public Health Foundation, Center for Budget Studies, they all conduct social science research. They all conduct. See, that's why I always tell my students, and also to you, I'm telling at the cost of repetition, teaching is not the only opportunity for students. You should put in their mind that when they come out of the university system after their MA post-graduation, so teaching is not the only option. There are several research opportunities for all the social scientists, but they should be knowing and they should be exploring. That is very important. And you as guides, as their teachers, you should be able to put in their head that research teaching is not the only option. If you focus on research, there are several options. So, and there are several policy research networks. So Ministry of Rural Development set professional network. So there are several research, government departments, they are promoting research. So similarly, this think tank initiative. So IDRC, Canada, they started what is called the think tank initiative. So here, in this think tank initiative, their ICSSR is also there in that. Revati Viswanath is the project coordinator for this think tank initiative. So there also they are trying to promote social science research and trying to understand where the research is. So basically what they observed is that the research, what they observed is that the highest volume of research in the region, our country. So it is ahead of other countries in South Asia. But there is a wide disparity in research activity and output across the country, both in terms of quantity and quality. So some premium universities located in major cities foster research culture, which include multidisciplinary research, whereas in smaller universities, it is not there. This is a major finding. However, the quality of research in a large majority institution neither confirms. See, even though India is producing so many journals and so much publications are taking place in social sciences also, but the quality is a problem. So our publications are not in quality journals, so are quality controlled journals. So there is a tendency, and also another finding is that there is a tendency to publish books rather than papers in different journals. People want to produce book as soon as they finish their MA, or when they join, they will start publishing books. So some books they publish. So that kind of tendency is there, our Indian social science researcher. Part of the reason could be the mandate emphasized on monography. So monographs, why researchers are in India, social science researchers in India are preferring to produce books rather than research papers in reputed journals is because there is more weightage for book. If you our CAS and admission, because now everything is metrics. See, all of you know, to get CAS, you need so many marks. So to get so many marks, you need so many publications. So in that, if you publish a book, single author, you get so many marks. So because of this rat race, I can say it is a race. So because of this, more focus is on producing some monographs and books rather than producing papers in very reputed journals. So that is one observation about Indian social science research. And another thing is, in general, however, a great deal of policy relevant research does not enter the public domain, making it difficult to assess the quality or it contribute to public debate. See, social science research is very, very relevant research. I myself has done policy research, but none of my findings have not reached anywhere. So even though we came out with very good findings, but nowhere I got an opportunity to put it in the policy making because I'm not a policy maker. Despite writing several times, nobody bothered about it. And also administrators, they keep changing. Today somebody is there, tomorrow some other IAS person will come. So our research, it is not actually entering into the policy making. So that is also another reason why our social scientists are interested more in producing books rather than doing policy relevant research. So Indian research, this is of course somewhat older data. So quality of social science research, CDS, Center for Development Studies. So they also have done one study to understand what is the quality of social science research in India. In 2016, they study. So much of the Indian research output, especially in social science, are published in India and do not even reach the top-notch publications in global circulation. So very few are able to publish in internationally known journals. Hence, they fail to meet the Western norms of quality measurement. So serious Trivandrum, because, unless until you produce in Scopus journals and, you are not counted, your publications are not counted. So that is a serious Trivandrum. They developed a measure of quality suited to capture into the multiple dimensions that are particularly. So serious people, they came out with another tool, measurement. See, otherwise, international level, how many times you are cited, citation index, and your Google Scholar, all these things matter. But that is why actually CDS came out with a quality suitable to our country. So CDS developed an index for our country. So what they found is that they studied that in Indian social science research contributes more to public debates, shows that India's social science research contributes more to public debates and for policy formulations than to pushing the frontiers of. See, what they observed is that based on review of so many research papers and contributions, so what they found is that Indian social science research is contributing more to policy making rather than they are publishing in internationally known high index numbers. See, if you have to publish in Scopus, high quality this one journals, you need to do extensive review of literature. And now there are so many specifications. Publishing one paper takes 2 years to publish anything in any internationally known journals. So even though we are the CDS index that has been developed by the CDS, what came out from that is, though we are not contributing to that international standard, this one, but our Indian researchers' contributions are getting more into the policy making. So more monographs are produced, more government promoted research is produced rather than producing for the international. So it is also noteworthy that 77% of the top quality articles are co-authored, and 2 others of these co-authored journals include at least 1 foreign collaborator, while the remaining 1/3 have Indian collaborators only. So another finding is that 77% there are co-authors, and 1 co-author is from the outside the collaborator from outside the country. So these are the findings. And foreign collaborations dominate national collaborations in all disciplines at top percentile. So with the exception of political science, law and history, all other disciplines have more collaborative than single authored papers. So when you have a collaborative project, certainly you will have a collaborator. So what this study found is that except in this political science and law and history, many disciplines there are actually co-authored than single authored papers in the top quality bracket. Looking at the institutional profile, it is encouraging to note that wide range of institutions feature in this club of top persons. So most of the research institutions, publications from these research institutions have got wider publicity. So mostly central universities and institutions of national importance. See, that's why actually I was telling that it is a good idea to have research institutions. Central universities, they have excellent facilities for research, and their teachers, they have less teaching load and more of research load. And whereas research institutions like ISEC and all, they don't have teaching load and they fully focus on research. So that is why these research institutions, they are in the top 1% of the articles. So it is suggestions actually it should come in the end. So what is the current phase of social science research? So this article is about social science research. What is happening in current situation? Actually, how much time do I have? Till 1 o'clock? Is it till 1 o'clock? Hello?
Yes, madam.
Yes, up to 1 o'clock, no? Yes, so I will leave some, I want to give some 5-10 minutes for us to talk about, to discuss some things. So up to 1 o'clock, no? Okay, it is one more half an hour is there. So what is the current phase of social science research? And what are the trends existing in current social science? This is the present as it stands. Up to 20 also I have references in this. 2020 also I have references in this. So it is a nice article, and he has reviewed so many papers. It is a joint article, and they have reviewed so many articles which deal with social science research. So here what they observed is they have listed out what are the trends and what is happening in social science research currently at present. So first thing is mixed methods. Many social scientists are using what is called the mixed methods. What is mixed methods? So mixed method research, it is an hybrid that emerged from the combination of quantitative and qualitative. See, earlier sociologists means, sociologists were writing, going on, writing. It is a qualitative description of any research finding or any observation. But where that is qualitative research, and qualitative research methods are used. But whereas, now people are using hybrid, where, both qualitative and as well as quantitative methods are being used. So that is why it is called mixed methods. In mixed methods, for example, me as economist, I also use quantitative methods. I do my regression analysis and correlation analysis, ANOVA, and all those things I do. And I also use qualitative research. I also use in-depth interviews method. I also use group interviews I also conduct. And I also have in-depth interviews. And, Also what is called, I forgot, there is one method which I have used. Content analysis. So those are the things which we are using in along with the quantitative research methods. So now currently social science research is using more of mixed methods. In mixed methods, you use both the quantitative as well as the qualitative research methods. So to know more about these mixed methods, you should have clarity about what is qualitative research methods and what is quantitative research methods. I think you must be having some sessions in future coming days about what is qualitative research and what is quantitative research methods. So that's the mixed method is now everybody is using. So why social scientists are using mixed method is it maximizing the strengths and minimizing the weaknesses of two research methods, because quantitative methods has advantages as well as disadvantages. And similarly, qualitative research methods have got both advantages and disadvantages. By combining these two, you bring these two research methods together so that you can get best of both. So reducing the what is called bad thing from both the things, so that combining both good things from both the methods, so that the output is better. So that is how actually social science research mixed methods are being used in social science research to maximize the strengths and minimizing the weaknesses. So, and the social science discipline traditionally biased in quantitative methods used in psychology, which is now welcoming qualitative. See, not only in psychology, any other social sciences also, it is biased towards quantitative methods. So people think that only when quantitative things are used, it is worth publishing. It's not like that. In mixed methods, you use both. So although the strengths of engaging mixed methods are widely discussed and convincing, process has shortcomings that include much demand in time. See, when you are using qualitative methods and mixed methods, you need more resources, more time and more energy, more understanding. So if you are using only quantitative methods, if you know about quantitative methods, that's enough. And also sociology, social work, you describe the phenomena, that is fine. You don't have to worry about quantitative things. But in mixed methods, you need to know both the things. So that is why people think it is a time consuming, but most of the social science research now uses mixed methods. And second one is many research methods, social science researchers are using factor analysis. Factor analysis is used by sociologists and economic students, even science people also use the factor analysis. It's a generic tool. So to identify the factors which have more strength in whatever is the phenomena that you are using. So more people are using factor analysis. So because this is not a methodology class, this is overall about social science methods. I am not getting deep into the factor analysis. Nowadays, it is very easy to Google and learn about factor analysis. So those of you who are interested, you can also Google and get YouTube lectures are there. So you can use it, and or your PhD scholars can use it. It's a very good tool, factor analysis. And structural equation modeling. So this also economics, many economists are using. So structural equation modeling is also many social science. See, now I am just giving an idea of in which direction social science research is going on. So people are using mixed methods, people are using factor analysis, people are using structural equation modeling, and people are using moderator and mediator analysis. See, especially in social science research, it is about examining the relationship between two or more variables. So as I told you in the beginning, in social science research, we try to understand how the social phenomena takes place, why people behave this way. So when you're talking about people behaving a particular way, so you have two variables and two are triggered by something else. For example, you take school education. When private schools are given opportunity, more privatization has taken place. So parents' behavior is different, and investors in education, their behavior is different. And these two behaviors are triggered by the government policy. That policy is privatization of education. You understand this? This is three. You have a policy which is triggering the changes in behavior of parents and also the suppliers of education, that is private players. So these three things you'll have to observe, examine. So in this, you have a cause and also you have an effect. See, for example, here the cause is the public policy, government policy, and the effect is on both the parents and also on the suppliers of education, that is school investors in school education. So here you have a moderator and mediator. So in social science research, people talk about the moderator and mediator. So a mediator is the variable responsible for the relationship between two other variables. So here the mediator is, in this particular case, the mediator is our policy of privatization. So that is the, here the privatization policy is the intervening or process variable. So because of that, the other two variables are influenced. So that is why a mediator is a variable responsible for the relationship between two other variables. And a mediator variable conveys the influence of other outcomes, either in part or whole. Okay. And a moderator variable is the strength or direction of the relationship. So we have looked at mediator. What is the moderator? Moderator variable is the strength or direction of the relationship between the two independent variables. So moderation occurs when relationship between two variables differ in magnitude or statistical significance. See, now if you are looking at, if there is any difference between rural and urban areas in selecting the particular school. So whether urban people are preferring private schools or rural people are preferring private schools. So if you want to understand the behavior of the people, so the decision making or behavior of the people, so what he will do is, and these two are in response to government policy. Government has introduced private, permitted private institutions and particular fee structure and all that. So because of that, whether there is any difference in the behavior of the parents from rural areas and urban areas. If you want to do that, so you need to understand how these two actors will be behaving, and you identify the variables. So how much they are paying fees and why they prefer that, all that you do research and you will get to know. So here, the moderator variable and in which direction it is, whether there is any significant difference in the behavior of the rural parents and in the behavior of the urban parents. So that is actually the strength of the moderator variable. And people are using statistical tools like, significance and hypothesis, testing hypothesis, understand the strength of the moderate variable. So this is, and next, this thing is meta-analysis. In social science research, many people are using what is called the meta-analysis. So meta-analysis was introduced, Jean Glass introduced the term meta-analysis in 1976. So divergence and convergence results of a specific link need to be put in perspective of theoretical, of course. Meta-analysis is a quantitative review that summarizes the results of many quantitative studies. See, in meta-analysis, you don't collect data. So what you collect is already existing. For example, if even the same thing, for example, behavior of parents in selecting the schools, government school or private school. So if that is the thing, so in meta-analysis, what you do is, you will only review the articles. You will only, the already existing material. So many people must have done research. And each one would have done they have taken their own different variables and they have done different analysis and all that. So in meta-analysis, what you do is, you bring all those researchers together. And then you will see that when these variables are considered, this is the behavior of the people and this is in response to that. So all those conclusions will come about in meta-analysis. So you should see beautiful articles are there. In internet, there are many nice articles are there which has used the meta-analysis. So they have only hundreds of articles on a particular point, whatever is the topic that you are looking at. They collect all the research that has taken place in that particular area and come out with the result. Based on all these researchers, I come to the conclusion that parents prefer private school because of all these reasons. So that is what is called the meta-analysis. People are using meta-analysis, and meta-analysis has the potential to contribute immensely to theory development. So in meta-analysis, you don't go with any assumption. You only review what is already existing, and based on that, you develop theory. So when these are the conditions, people behave like this. So you come out with a particular theory. So that is a meta-analysis has the potential to contribute to the theory, developing theory clarification and practice. Okay. And also sometimes meta-analysis will give you some modifications to the already existing theories. So results and indices reporting. This is also happening in social science research. In social science research, results are now being presented in different ways. So in quantitative research, people are using ANOVA, regression, Mann-Whitney test, and all these things. And whereas dominant index, people are using indices. You know, we have so many indices. Human Development Index, this index, that index, so many competitive index and worth living index, what not. So many indices. So all these indices are coming from our social science research. So social science research is mainly using a lot of social science research is using significant testing. So people develop these indices and they see whether there is any significant difference and all that. And then in one more this thing is, I'm sorry, one more observation is that multiple authorship. Many of the social science research is now coming with multiple authors. In natural sciences, multiple authorship is already there. Several others will be contributing. But whereas in social science, now only we are having more of multiple other researchers. Why? Because of the multidisciplinary research. So I may require the help of my sociology friend. I may require the help of a psychology friend who will be contributing from his discipline or her discipline. So that is why now you find multiple authorship articles are coming in the field, in almost all the fields. So this is also another phenomena happening in social science research. And open access publishing. So this is also happening in social science research. So the open access publishing to the traditional closed access. See, earlier when we were doing PhD, it was so difficult. We have to physically go and search the library, in the library, go to that particular rack and see, open that. Sometimes it will be there, it won't be there, all sorts of things. Now, you have open access. Of course, now also, all are not open access. So some are open access, some are closed. See, for example, Thorat and somebody else also has written a book on social science research, Indian social science research. It is published in 2019 or something. But I couldn't get that. I couldn't get access. This is Oxford Academia publication, and it is to be paid. The university has to subscribe to that. So it's not that everything is open access, but open access publications are taking place. You find the moment you give one keyword, you get thousands of articles which are there in open access. So open access publishing is a trend in social sciences as it helps to bridge the gap in resource sharing and limited expenses. So high quality open access requires adequate funding and monitoring, of course. So the easiness of setting open access up goes with the cost of providing an enabling environment. So challenges, what are the challenges in social science research? So social science research is quite challenging. It's not that it's very easy to survive. So one thing that is observed is misconduct. Misconduct is there in social science research so much, because I always quote this example. In mathematics, in 2 into 2 is 4, always. It is always 2 into 2 is 4. But whereas in social sciences, it is not. Similarly, 2 plus 2 is 4 in mathematics. It is always 2 plus 2 is 4. But whereas in social sciences, it is not. Why? I'll tell you why it is not. You must be wondering, because 2 plus 2 is always 4 only. How can it be 5 or 3? It is because in development literature, in development practitioners when they go to field, when they implement any program or any initiative. So we go with an understanding that no, this will result in this. So when the government is investing 100 rupees, so people, wherever the project is there, so incomes increase by 105 rupees or 110 rupees. We assume that when we go that. So this 100 rupees may become 105 rupees in some families, but in some families it may not. It may become 95 also. They may not get anything out of this. So that means, it depends on the behavior of the individual. So because of that, in social science research, it is not always 2 + 2 is 4. 2 + 2 maybe sometimes it is 3 and sometimes it may be 6. So that is why the misconduct is quite possible in social science research. So it is a process that covers some activities. So academic integrity and associated scientific misconduct. What are the scientific misconduct is act of violating the standard codes of scholarly conduct and ethical behavior, and also going with falsification, ghost authorship. So all this comes under misconduct. What is ghost authorship? Ghost authorship means, there is one more slide I will tell you. Ghost authorship means somebody else writes for you. He or she won't be there. Now that is happening. People are calling it in quotations outsourcing. So you don't do anything. You register for PhD. That is the end of it. And you take the whole thing to a particular person, whoever is interested in doing this. You pay him 3 lakhs or 4 lakhs or whatever it is. So, and they will write the whole thing, but their name won't be there anywhere. So only your name will be there. But you can't do further anything. You can only get PhD. Beyond, you can't do anything. And so those are the ghost writers. And even research papers also, some ghost writers are there. So that ghost authorships, they are all what is happening in social science research. All that is put together, it is called the misconduct. So academic integrity. So academic integrity is not there. That means academic integrity means what? 5 fundamental values that cover honesty, trust, fairness, respect, and responsibility in conduct of research. So honesty, yes, because we want only positive results. When we are talking about any particular program, its impact on human beings, what we do is it should have positive impact only. Even if you get negative results also, you will put only tick mark, right. So you go with the result and you want only that. So it is not honesty. You don't have honesty in doing research. And respect for whatever work you are doing. And responsibility in conducting research, because you are dealing with human beings. As a social scientist, you are dealing with human beings. You should treat them with respect. That is not there. So that is social science research. One challenge is that. And plagiarism, all of you know about this. So we only get a certificate that plagiarism is only so much. But plagiarism is very much rampant. And I don't have to tell you, all of you have submitted your PhDs and you know what is meant by plagiarism. So reducing that, the act of plagiarism is threat to the educational process. Why we have to worry so much about plagiarism is because it is a threat to the process, educational process, as students and academicians could receive credits or rewards from work not initially theirs. In plagiarism, you get all praise for the work that you have not done. The work you have done, that is done by somebody else. And also it has the potential to adversely impact meta-studies. As I told you, meta-analysis. So if it is plagiarized, so meta-analysis doesn't go properly. It could falsify the number of actual studies. So when you are doing meta-analysis, if it is plagiarized, so same findings, somebody else also done it. But that is different names. So when you are doing in meta-analysis, it is counted as 2 research papers, but in reality, it is only 1 paper. So such kind of issues are there in social science research. And also falsification. Falsification is covered the act of concealed manipulation. As I told you, you don't really do what is called randomized sampling. You want to do random sampling. So you write systematic random sampling or stratified random sampling, all blah, 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 you will write in methodology. But actually you would not be doing it. You won't be doing it. So that kind of falsification is possible, is happening in social science research. And it is a construct of or addition. Sometimes you collect data for 5 or 6 respondents and make it 200. So sometimes I really wonder how students can collect data from 400, 500 respondents for just a PhD scholar. I have seen PhD scholars claiming that they collected data from 400, 500 students, 500 respondents. How is it possible? So it is nothing but it is just generation of data and adding data. And falsification includes citation and differences that are forged. That is also. So for example, falsification is not just only with data. Citations, you give citations in your research paper. So there also sometimes you forge from somebody else, you will take this citation. So that is also happening in social science research. That is also a threat. Fabrication. Fabrication what? Fabricator. Social science researchers are also real great fabricators. So they do a lot of fabrication in the form of academic miscount, I told you, making up data, results, literature. They just make data, as I told you. Some 5 course schedules they collect, make it 200, 500. So that is fabrication. And also these unwelcome research related conducts result from, why people are doing all this? Why this misconduct? Why this fabrication? Why all these things? All this is happening because of the research related conducts result from drive linked to career pressure. So in Indian system, to become from assistant professor to associate professor, associate to professor. So all this is based on your publications, and publications also nobody bothers which what is the value of that journal. So you have 5 numbers, okay, 5 into so whatever it is. So because you have to have numbers, that's all. So that is how actually all these challenges are, all these things are taking place, mainly because of drive is linked to the career pressure. And ghost others, as I told you, ghost othership prevalence can be significantly minimized when the burden of art. Yeah, if this is reduced, if this pressure is reduced, that these promotions are linked to so much of score, rather than where you published. You publish a Scopus journal 1 publication in a year, or in 2 years, you make 1 Scopus publication. Only when you make Scopus publication, you get promotion. If that is made, you don't have the rush. You don't have to make a score for 200, 300. Only if you have to make a score for 200, you have to have 100 publications. But if there is no such score, and if the process is to promote Scopus publications, so then this ghost writers will be reduced. So a gift also a common on, see, gift writers are nothing but they help us, and you give them authorship. So that is the gift writers, and ghost authorship exists when someone who contributes. This is about, already it is done. So reporting and publication bias. See, in social science research, another challenge is the publication bias. So publication bias means some journals, they publish articles when the results are positive. It should not be negative. And government program means it is having a positive impact. So such articles are published. So that is why people manipulate all these things. Now, what and all I have spoken, all are interrelated. See, where your paper will be, say, first of all, to publish your thesis, to submit your thesis, you need to have 2 publications. So these publications, some paid journal, somewhere you publish, make somebody else to write and publish. And after that, once you join your job also, to join the job, you need so many publications. So then also you publish somewhere something to get this score. So all this rush is mainly for the for your entry into the teaching this assignments. So all that is leading to they're all interconnected. So another bias is that it's a positive results only will be published. And reproduction and replication studies. See, in social science research, another challenge is reproduction and replication studies. There are very few. reproducibility and replication status are rather very rare. See, low rate of replication in social science research is recently there was a finding, 2012, there was a research. So what it was found is that 1.07 of the 500 randomly selected articles in high impact psychology journals were replication studies. See, here I have given what is meant by replication and what is meant by replicability. Like in science, I think some of you must have studied in science. In physical laboratory or chemical laboratory, you conduct an experiment. So in this particular experiment, you assume normal temperature and pressure, MTP conditions. Under NTP conditions, you put the same amount of two chemicals, they give the same chemical. That is done by you or me or anybody else, it gives the same result. So H2O means it is H2O only, whether you do it, me, I do it, and anybody else. But whereas in social science, it is not like that. So that is why now this replicability, the same research done by somebody else, it may get some other results. So that is why the reproducibility or replication of the studies, reproducibility, it indicates the capability of achieving the same findings as another researcher using the existing data from previous study. So whereas replication studies requires collecting and analyzing data to establish the new studies provide the same result. So this is very, very low in social science research, but in natural science it is there. So there are some methodological challenges. Social science researchers face another methodological challenge. So methodological challenge is about methodology used. So methodology used is but social science do not have the enabling conditions to get the full potential of the techniques. So not everybody has got access to the specific techniques and information. So methodology, which kind of methodology to use? There is nothing like any right and wrong. So in this particular case, in social sciences, so methodological challenges are much more than any other, because as a natural scientist or as a chemist, they behave as it is, but here you are behaving with what is called the human beings. So beliefs such as the interval measurement of parametric statistics are not often bet as substantial research. For example, Likert scale. Now people are using it. But this interval measurement or continuous series, there are n number of issues. And any inferential statistics, for example, testing the significance. So there also you make so many assumptions to arrive at whether it is significant or not significant. So all these things make it methodological challenges for social sciences. So another methodological challenge is conceptualizing some variables. See, work is a concept. Okay, how do you define work? So socioeconomic conditions of working women, you write. But how do you define work? What is work? What is not work? Whether inside the house is also work, outside the work. When you are working women means you have to take only those who are going out to work. So how you define matters. So that is also another methodological challenge in the social sciences. And non-probability sampling techniques do not guarantee the representativeness. In social sciences, you go for non-probability sampling, so the estimates that you get, it's not possible to have only probability sampling, pakka probability sampling in every situation. So that also creates problems in social science research. And poor quality of journals, that is another challenge that people are facing. Inadequate funding, this is another important thing. In universities, there is very little funding, very little facilities to do good research for social sciences, because all universities, mainly state-funded universities, central universities, there are better funding. And there is a research practice gap. So there is hardly any connect between what the research that we produce and its usability in the practice. There is very, very large gap. As I told you, other challenges are, so what is important is to promote social science research, we need to have multidisciplinary research. So there are different issues in multidisciplinary research, but problems are wicked problems. See, wicked problems means, once you address one problem, some other problem will be affected by this. So that is why there are several, you need actually anthropologists and social. For example, economists, for example, may focus on cost-effective mechanism. Sociologists may, each discipline has their own method of addressing the issue. So these subsystems, they are to be put together by social scientists. See here, I have given one example of climate change. I'll just read this. 4 minutes is there. So climate change, we must consider among other things, how oceans, rivers are influenced by land use. Okay. So you all know about it. So these subsystems are linked in time and space. So all of you know that social, I mean, when we are looking at climate change, you have to look at all these things. So the same problem, solutions are, different solutions come from different disciplines. See, for example, economists may focus on cost-effective mechanisms, how to address this. Maybe sociologists, they come out with a solution by empowering people. And anthropologists may come about acknowledging the local customs, how much local customs help or prevent from sustainable development. So that is why psychologists on an attribution of responsibility. So each discipline brings in different solutions. So this has to be put together in social sciences in a multidisciplinary research. So this is about the complexity of the problems. So, but there are problems in multidisciplinary research in social sciences, because once you do multidisciplinary, or anthropologist or sociologist. So that kind of questions you may have to face, and particularly when you are applying for any post. So your PhD is in economics or sociology or anthropology, people will face such kind of questions. So more now actually we have more social network analysis people are using, and GIS is also people are using, text analysis also people are using, and we have different branches in social sciences only. All this is under social sciences. We have behavioral economics and institutional economics, social ecology, and land economics and gender economics, and all these are some of the new disciplines. Quantitative history. See how history and quantitative techniques are used in quantitative. It is a beautiful combination. So, and cliodynamics. Cliodynamics is also another transdisciplinary area of research, integrating cultural, evolution, economic. So all this comes under our social science research. So then social capital. We economists are talking about not man-made capital. We are talking about social capital. Social capital concept came from psychologists and from sociologists and political economy framework. So institutional challenges, how to overcome these challenges is more encouragement to research in the universities by providing incentives and also mandatory involvement of end users. And I strongly believe in these two things, and strict adherence to the quality of output, not just simply how many papers you produce, where you have produced. That is important. Flexibility and identification of research potential. So at the individual level, as you all are researchers future, so identify the broader area of interest and focus on the particular area. Don't deviate into 2, 3, 4 things. Just identify your area and focus only in that particular area. Go deep into that particular area and acquire analytical skills. That is very important. And prepare both analytical and theoretical framework. When you are addressing a particular problem, so first prepare a theoretical framework and also prepare an analytical framework, which I do. So these are the institutions where social sciences, these are references. As I told you, this book is a social science research in India. This book is Oxford academic, but I didn't get full access to this. And most of the things in my presentation is taken from this Sunday Samson, this particular paper. If you click on this, you will get access to that paper. I think I better stop here. I'm sorry, I only have taken all the time. I will stop sharing. Yeah, so that I can see all of you. Yeah, now I had to rush because there is very less time. This subject is too vast to cover in one hour, 15 minutes. So now we get some 5 minutes to talk about. If you have anything to ask me or clarify, please go ahead. Yeah.